Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. You know it. It's 4 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I already downloaded a video about rapper Trippie Redd, and I was very hesitant. I made this video yesterday, and for me, I make under 50K a year, okay? And I want to buy a house. And I've been thinking about investing my meager savings, a couple $1,000s in gold. And I came across this story about Trippie Redd and spending $150,000 on a necklace. And to me, this video is about somebody with my means, my finances and my means, looking at the way and thinking about the way somebody with much more money, probably $500K a month, as opposed to my $50K a year, the way he spends money. And it's actually a compliment to Trippie Redd. But I was hesitant after I think about this video and the way people could look at it. Is it a Caucasian guy, well, half Native American, looking at the way a black man spends money? I hope it's not perceived as that, because that's not how I looked at it in terms of finances. It is what it is. So I decided to download it. Never let it be said that I back away from controversy. Okay. Today's video is about a weatherman quitting his job after 18 years in Iowa. And it's funny, this story popped up. I came across this story this morning. Just yesterday in the last couple of days this week, well, actually the last couple of months at least, I wanted to do a video talking about the weather. I don't know if people across the country are going through the same situation, because I don't know what the local weather is and the local weather forecasters are saying in each place, and I'm not witnessing the weather across the country. But let me tell you here, the weathermen or weather people are so ridiculously wrong. I'm talking, they got to be wrong, way wrong over like 50% of the time, and it's just got to be so ridiculous. Today, it's supposed to, they've been forecasting all week. It's going to be cloudy and rain today. So I'm planning on going to the beach. I swear to God, I'm not lying. I'm planning on going to the beach today because they're forecasting it's going to be cloudy and rainy. In other words, it's going to be sunny. And I'm not exaggerating here. Using yesterday as an example. Yesterday, all week, they said it was going to be cloudy and rainy. Up to yesterday morning, I'm outside a lot. I do a lot of hiking, a lot of mountain biking, going to the beach and all that. And I like to know what the weather's going to be so I can plan my days. And it's been wrong continually. Yesterday, they said it was going to be cloudy and rainy. And it was blue sky and sunny for a good 80% of the day. There was some clouds, no rain. There was a little clouds in the morning, and it was blue skies. It was actually to the point where I was looking at my phone, looking at the weather forecast, saying that it's 80% cloudy right now, mostly cloudy, and with a chance of rain. And I'm looking out my window at a blue sky, and it's forecasting this for they're not just wrong day to day, they're wrong hour to hour. And this isn't something new. And it just, with the technology improving all the time, how can this be? I have to watch the weather this morning to see how they explained this yesterday, because it was just completely wrong. And this is just day after day throughout the whole winter, this winter. They would forecast 10 inches of snow, 12 inches of snow. We didn't get 10 or 12 inches of snow all year, So I start to wonder, there's got to be an explanation for this, because they seem to be getting worse at the forecasts, not just day to day, but literally hour to hour. Are the weather patterns changing? Is it climate change? That's the only thing I could think of. They're using models. Here in Connecticut, they talk about the European model and the American model. I don't know if they talk about those in other parts of the country. And the European model is usually more accurate, which isn't saying much. And I'm wondering if these old computer algorithms aren't set up, aren't dealing with the climate change. So this morning, I come across a story about a weatherman receiving threats, serious life and limb threats, to the point where he actually quit. He's actually got PTSD. I imagine, this is an exaggeration. If you're on TV or even here on YouTube, if I've gotten threats before, and you don't know when the threat that there's hundreds of people that know who you are and don't like you, that you couldn't recognize them if they came up to you. It's a scary thought. So this weatherman, Chris Gloninger, I'll have the link down below for this. He came from this area, which is part of the story too. He's from Sag Harbor, New York, Long Island, which is only about 40 miles from here. I think he did weather in Boston too. And he moved to Des Moines, Iowa, which is a hard red state, I imagine, to KCCI, Iowa. And he's been doing the weather there, and he talks a lot about climate change. And in this story, he talks about when he was a kid, there was a hurricane here in the Northeast, and a lot of people were lost, a lot of damage, and that affected him. And he thinks similarly that there might be climate change could be the cause of this. I mean, we look at these weather situations seem to be increasing. Okay, so Chris Gloninger talks about, he was talking about the smoke here in the Northeast. I talked about in videos. The smoke from wildfires, hundreds of wildfires up in Canada, is coming down here. And I mean, we look like Mars here for about a month ago. The sky and everything was just, out of 57 years on this earth, I have never seen what I saw in the last month. I mean, it was just orange here. The atmosphere was orange. You could see this in the air. And these are from fires hundreds, if not 1,000 miles away. And I've never seen this in my life. And Chris was talking about this and how these fires, how they had explosive growth, he thinks, through climate change, which kind of makes sense. Warming, winds, and all that, explosive growth. So I read this, and this will be in the links down below. And I read a lot of people from Iowa, being Republicans, they deny this climate change is even happening, to the point where they get angry and they actually threaten this guy. And I read some of their responses to this, specifically to this. You can read it down below in the link to this thing about the smoke. And their responses are just ridiculous. Their responses are, it was caused by arson or something like that. And then there was another response saying that I suppose arsonists will now be able to use climate change as an excuse to get off. He didn't say that was the cause of the fire. He never said that was the cause of the fire. He said explosive growth. I mean, are these people intentionally misreading and misunderstanding what this guy is saying? And why are they getting? And then you got to read the. One of the tweets says that I wish you would give your address so us Iowans could come and give you a real Iowan welcome. I mean, that's a threat. Then all the other tweets are telling him, go back to where you came from, go back to the east, go back to the Northeast where you came from, and liberalness and pushing Biden hoaxes, and to the point where one guy, I think a 63-year-old guy, got arrested and got like a slap on the wrist, like a $100 fine for actually threatening his life and limb. And I started thinking about this. Any grown man knows that it's illegal to do this, to threat. So how could you get so angry? Why not just change the channel? If this guy aggravates you so much, you don't have to watch him. Just like you don't have to watch me. Why do people do that? Why do people repeatedly, day after day, watch things that makes them angry? To the point, like this guy, actually doing something he knows that could land him possibly in jail, although he just got a slap on the wrist. How could you get so angry about what somebody is saying on a channel that you don't even have to watch, that has nothing to do with you? And I start thinking that it's got to be fear. Fear of change, fear of electric cars. I came to the realization a long time ago that change is going to happen. Change in my life is going to happen. I'll be honest with you guys. At 57, I do fear change. I really do. But this is one thing I realized. A lot of change just happened in the last couple of years of my life. I lost Audrey. All this stuff happened in a couple months. I lost the place where I was living to the point where I was actually homeless for 2 months. There was a series of other things that all happened. Bad luck comes in threes, that kind of thing. But I realized that you can always look at this another way. That good things come out of this. I have a hard time finding something good that came out of losing Audrey. But I try to look at life. I try to enjoy life every day now because of the way I lost her. Or having this beautiful apartment and the people, the friends, and connections I've made in this apartment after losing my home. You gotta make lemonade out of the lemons. That's the way I'm thinking here. But how could these people get so angry? All they have to do is change the channel. Why are they so scared? Why are they so fearful of this? That they're going to have to, they think they are going to have to lose their gas-powered cars. You see, this one thing came up about electric stoves about 6 months ago, and people just freaked out. Who cares? Electric stoves, gas, things change. You have to, survival of the fittest. Those who adapt live, and those who don't are lost. Basically, you have to change, and it reminds me of conformity again, where everybody has to do the same thing, and nothing changes. It just amazes me, all the threats and letters to this guy over this, when they could just change the channel. Also, I'll put some links down below, because when I see the ice sheets, the North Pole, the glaciers melting, which is a fact, a stone cold fact, and you see that water and the fact that the oceans are rising, there's no disputing this. I don't have kids. It honestly doesn't really affect me, but you still have to think that it's not a good thing. Things have to change, or the human race will become extinct. Change happens. You have to roll with it. The links will be down below. Have a good Friday.